welcome viewers to another episode of The Big Leap. It's a very exciting episode for us, old industry colleagues and now partners from the business. So we have two people who actually need no introduction in the truest form. We have Mr. Gurmeet Chadha and Mr. Kshitij Mahajan from Complete Circle Consultants from Delhi. Gurmeet and Kshitij have a very interesting story. Friends, colleagues, who then parted to join different companies only to converge at some point of time about 5 or 6 years back to start something called as Complete Circle Consultants. I would really request everybody to start to look at their website, which is not Complete Circle, but it is known by My First Crore. And that was probably their own personal investments, or to look at how to get their investors to get their first crore. So that's the very interesting part about Complete Circle is their website. And it's been such a great thing to look at them as a spectator, seeing how Complete Circle has grown from strength to strength in the last now 6 years, adding clients across India and abroad, now setting up their branches in North, beyond Delhi, now in Chandigarh, soon to be in Bombay. So welcome Gurmeet and Kshitij to The Big Leap. Thank you so much for taking out time and being with us. I know the story, but it is better to come from both of you that how did Complete Circle start?
So, it's a interesting evening where, I had a bad month, Mayukh, and I think probably we used to meet during a month end in Citibank days,
Yes.
when I was heading the investment vertical. And I called up Kshitij and I said that, it was 2015, somewhere around June, July, and I told him that I've had a very bad month, in terms of, not meeting revenue guidelines. And Kshitij said that he had an equally bad month, and till how long we need to continue. So we decided to catch up, over a beer in Connaught Place in one of the oldest restaurants. We started our discussion. There was a tissue paper on which we made a plan. And, and then it went on till 11. The restaurant had to ask us to go out because the cutoff was met. And then we actually went to a Gurdwara, which is Bangla Sahib near Delhi, continued that discussion there till 12:31. And at early morning around 2 o'clock, I think Complete Circle was born. So this is how the journey started. And, me and Kshitij go back a long way as friends, as colleagues, and he was quite supportive of the idea. And it says that love and entrepreneurship happens to you. I think it happened to us. I'll be honest with you, we did not plan. We decided we have to go. We have worked 14, 15 years across banks, asset management, distribution business. And we thought it's a perfect time to, take the entrepreneurial leap. The environment had started becoming very, very conducive for being an entrepreneur. And I think that's how it started.
Gurmeet has actually told you the story how this company got into inception. But the idea was that he was having a lot of opportunity with him at that time to move to Bombay as well as Singapore. And we were contemplating that whether he want to leave the city or he want to stay back. Then we were thinking that how we should go about it, because both of us were doing, you were our industry colleague, you know that we were doing good in our that part of jobs. So it was always difficult to leave a job. And I came from a, service class background, my parents being doctorate in college and father being scientist. So I've always seen people working with salaries only. And he's the one who kept on pushing that, nahi, ye possible hai, we can do this. And I always used to give him my EMI statements, how we are going to manage this. Because everything was going on. Demon happened in November. Let me be honest with you. The time he started, Demon happened in November. I said, bhai, where we'll go, everything is, he said, we don't need cash for investment. SEBI will never agree that we can take cash for investment. He keep on making, jokes on everything that, okay, fine. Yeah. And then things started moving on. And, I think honest, the best part about this entire setup was that we were not pushing anything to clients, and whatever, strength or whatever knowledge base which we have acquired over a period of time, and especially with Gurmeet meeting his Citibank client, because he was having a lot of clients which he was meeting since last 3.5 years, that has actually played a very important role with his knowledge and content. And yes, my experience in the BMC, while you know how it used to be that we used to make various corporates, various clients, that has also helped us. But it takes time, because this show has been seen by a lot of people of our family only, which is IFA family. It takes time, but if you give time, again, it compounds really well. So God has been kind. Last thing which I like to say about this startup.
So like I would ask any startup that the first initial 3 years are very tough. But what was that which drove you that this is the difference you wanted to make? Because this was something similar to what you were doing in your jobs. So when you wanted Complete Circle, what was the differentiating factor you wanted to put it up, which drove you to create your own setup?
When I was in the bank serving clients, I realized that the entire orientation is very transactional. We are measuring client relationship basis, the revenue he brings, measuring client basis in terms of number of transactions he does. The banks measure you on the number of how active you are across product lines, including bank, including CASA, including Forex, insurance, right? And I somehow thought that this business does not require too much activity. In fact, this is a business of delayed gratification, and probably we didn't see a lot of people really doing delayed gratification. There are obviously great examples and there were inspiring stories, but majority of the trade was transactional, was driven by monthly, quarterly numbers. One added benefit was, since I've worked with an asset management company for 6 years, I was very asset driven. So our goals were always expanding the assets, expanding the client base, and revenue would be a byproduct. Initially, we had a bit of a nervous few months because we always went for the trail model. And in that time, a friend was there, including in alternate products, including PMS. But from day one, we were on trail. Day one, we were transparent on what we made. We actually disclosed it to clients before SEBI really, made it mandatory. And as Kshitij said, because we were from the asset management, our content was very strong. We were happy doing liquid funds. We were happy doing arbitrage funds also, if it made sense for the client. We were happy doing corporate deposits also, in case we saw the client did not fall in the or highest tax slab. So we started offering solutions. We started offering doing goal based, and our goals were first year 100 crores, second year 300 crores. That's how. And I'll be honest with you, we actually planned around 500 crores, and we thought that if we are able to do 500 crores, both of us will be taken care of, at a certain spread. So I think that helped us, because the orientation was to make money, orientation was to garner more assets. And I think that differentiated us from majority of the people who were more revenue focused.
So Kshitij, would you share some of these stories? How did clients react to you when you set it up on your own? Because that would be the very interesting part of setting up Complete Circle.
So, just to add to what Gurmeet said, answering your question. So we were never trying to become best or maybe beat someone in this entire plan. We were always wanted to differentiate ourselves. And I owe this to Ramdev sir, because he said it very rightly that I don't need any targets for my people. Sales will come, but you have a target to read books. There are targets given to read books at senior management. And there is a session on those books that how much you have read, what is in this chapter, what is in that chapter. So that type of, when you get that type of orientation in an organization, then it becomes very different how you can actually move to the next step. So when you ask about the clients, when I've gone back before resigning that, sir, I'm trying to start my own. So, they were very mixed views. Few of the clients, they were like, no, we are very happy. But what value add you will do? They are almost everything. Now, mutual fund has become like a OTC product. I'm not saying OTC products are bad products, but it has become like an OTC product that information is available. And all my clients were mainly treasury clients. So they said, okay, we can look at something on the alternate side. And because of my orientation with Motilal, it helped me to push Gurmeet that we should have, he's the one who's too much for mutual fund in Citibank. Let's do mutual fund only, keep it simple. Life is complicated, investment should be simple. I kept on saying that mutual fund is simple, but PMS is more transparent. And we should not look at that I'm taking buy of mutual fund from my clients to PMS. I'm saying the direct stock book, which my client is holding, we can use that to convert into a PMS holding. And eventually he agreed, and we started pitching this to our client. So it was a mixed view from my clients when I was leaving. But yes, I am, or what we are, it's because of all our clients. Some of them they onboarded in quarter or two, but some of them they took their own sweet time. And I can understand they have their own relation right now going on with people. So it was mix of everything. But when you are your own, you don't have to be actually target yourself that this month you have to do this. What you have to target is that how you are adding value to your client, what differentiating thing you've been doing. You've been helpful to us, Mayukh, when it comes to many of the sessions with, Swaroop or any of your fund managers. I have done 3 sessions with them, and it actually helped. One thing which was very clear to me and Gurmeet, that clients, we are because of clients. The clients are not because of us. So what is there to hide clients from the manufacturer? And you know that many of the time when you have bought any of your learned fund managers here, we have been doing client meetings regularly with them. This is actually something which actually helped us to make our client understand that was, I am just telling you that what one should do, but the actual manufacturer or product, the guy who's managing your fund is this guy, and just understand from him how they are going about the scheme. So that has actually helped us to become more transparent with our client, as Gurmeet said, on the revenue side, as well as making them meet the end manufacturer.
The one thing which I would ask both of you is that from day one, we have seen that in Complete Circle, asset allocation has been the cornerstone for most of your decisions. Markets and asset classes would have moved, but you have allocated across the spectrum. So how did that become a part as the starting point? And even as the AUM has keep on growing, clients came in, how do you maintain the asset allocation as a business?
I think that's a very, very important point you mentioned, Mayukh. I think, so, so as I said, we started with we onboard a client with a financial goal. We do not onboard any client basis abstract that I have 1 crore, where should I invest? Or I have X amount, where should I invest? I think we make it very clear to the client that it has to be goal based. And once that goal is set, when you put things down in writing, things become simpler. You can bucket it. You can. So the first thing was to have a goal. Once the goal was clear to us, it made the job much easier. So there were clients who were happy with 7-8%. We did not take risks with them much. We were happy being conservative. There were clients who had more moderate expectations. So we made it very, very client centric. As I said, it was not transactional at all. Initially, it did hurt us in terms of margins, in terms of being nervous. But as you say, if you get your basics right, you eventually get client. Also, we kept knocking. We in fact, the clients we were expecting to come on board did not came through, and the clients where we were not expecting things to really happen. And that's what happens when you start on your own, right? Funny things happen with you. In fact, our largest client where you came in the 4th year of operation, right? So today that client has become largest. In fact, recently in the 6th year now we have another large client which is as big as this one should be very clear on this. Build credibility. This business is about reference. It's about trust. It's about strong word of mouth. And I'm very happy to share with you, we haven't done any cold call after first 18 months of our business. The first 18 months is where we got the requisite number of clients on board. And after that, it's only been, client reference. In fact, we are not onboarding new clients now because our bandwidth is choked. So once we added Chandigarh, we onboarded 15 more families in Chandigarh. So we are very clear that we need to manage it well. We need to give it time and be very, very clear. So I think what a lot of people don't do is they don't review things, right? Not doing anything in market doesn't mean you don't even look at anything, right? So I think constant reviewing the portfolio also makes the client feel better. Somebody is taking care of me. Somebody is really looking after my interest. And that's only possible when you add technology, when you make it limited, when you make it very, very niche. And I think that's what played out.
Just to add to Gurmeet what he said, what actually helped us when you were saying that asset allocation part is that initially we were taking what we were getting. And that's how one should approach a business, But eventually, as and when you get comfortable with client, you actually start talking about that what all other asset classes are. It's not that you would like to have those asset classes with you, but you can actually request client and you can become an entry door for him to adjust his assets across categories. Yeah. And especially in Delhi, you have so much of real estate asset which people don't count in their wealth, but it's actually 70-80% of the overall wealth right now also. Yeah. Having said that, we have now not done much of the part on the real estate side, but you can actually become a gatekeeper to client on the overall portfolio, and you'll be unbiased with that client. And slowly and steadily, you will see, Mayukh, that you will keep on increasing your wallet share. Gurmeet is talking about big clients, and I'm being honest with you, we are not even 10-12% as a wallet share in in these big clients. So the scope is, if you keep on doing the right things and you keep on delegating in all overall asset allocation. So most of the time when I have seen many of my colleagues, industry colleagues who've been on my side, they keep on talking about asset allocation on their portfolio side. That should not be the approach. You don't know what type of asset allocation is on the overall portfolio. So you need to understand that. You tell client you don't want to disclose the name or funds, it's okay. But please share the amount of asset allocation across other partners also, so that you can come across as a holistic asset allocation, and then you can talk to the client, right, sir? Then what should we do going further with the new allocation which is coming?
So you're basically asking for a basic transparency for you to give the better
Yes.
solution. Unless you don't know all the information, you cannot come out with a better solution.
Right.
Great. Right. So I'll just introduce my colleague Tarun here. Tarun has been managing the relationship from our side for quite some time. So Tarun, if you could share your experience of interacting with both Kshitij and Gurmeet, and in fact the whole team with Puneet and other people at Complete Circle.
Thank you, Gurmeet sir and Kshitij sir, for giving us the opportunity for Big Leap. It is basically my pleasure to speak about the Complete Circle. However, they don't need any introduction. But in short, the founders and the partner in Complete Circle all are very seasoned professionals. They have started with the tagline, as we have already discussed, my first crore, and provide basically 360-degree consultancy to their investors, which hold true with their firm name basically. So they give personal attention to each and every investor and always have asset allocation framework in work for all investors. So they always future centric and are open to many new ideas which are to the benefit of the investors. So many congratulations to them and the entire team on completion of 6 years, and my best wishes to the entire team. As a RM, I feel proud to manage their relationship and have learned a lot of things from them. All the best, sir, and thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So my last question to Gurmeet and to Kshitij, to both of you, is that many people want to take the plunge, but most of the time are unable to take the plunge. And more importantly, and they are unable to take the plunge because most of the time they have the uncertainty of where the profession would lead to going ahead, because you are taking a 5-10 year call in life. So what is your view about the profession going ahead?
So extremely gung-ho, and I think I must give credit to Kshitij for making me, he's one guy who actually thinks big. I'm more an executor, so that's why we gel along so well, that I get micro, he get macros, and that's all the marriages. I think there's a huge scope, and the way things are shaping, there is this sweet spot in the industry where there are investors who are, so we are opening what, 12 lakh DMATs, 13 lakh DMATs a month.
Yeah,
Kshitij
yeah.
made a point that we are opening 100. We've opened 1 crore DMATs in about 110 days, and I was like, so I think our penetration levels are very low. I think this financialization of saving is a decade trend. This is not a 1 year, 6 month phenomena, and people will move more to financial assets. There is passive investing, which is catching up in a big way. These millennials, they are more interested in equity, cryptos, and bonds, and much lesser interested in real estate, gold, FD. So we should catch that trend, and the clients need personalized advice. The larger guys are selling it like quant models. Personal finance, the first word is personal, then finance, right? And this is what we tell people. You need technology, but you need people. There has to be a hybrid model where there has to be a face to technology. Technology is extremely important for your research, allocation, and necessary tools. So go ahead and do more. Believe in yourself. If you do too much of Excel sheet, trust me, the numbers will never add up, because this is a leap of faith. This is not an Excel projection of you doing, and the size of the pie will increase. Don't get too bogged down by what regulatory interventions are happening. We were all disheartened when a lot of changes happened in the regulatory framework, both in terms of classification of assets, in terms of remuneration, in terms of expense structure. But what I've learned is that anything which is good for clients, anything where the funds become more competitive, more compliant, is eventually good for everyone. Right. And I think India has a long way to go. So if we are headed to a $10 trillion economy, we are also will have $10-11 trillion of market cap, and far more billionaires and billionaires to manage wealth.
Lovely.
So, Mayukh, I think Gurmeet is more of a man of numbers. He has given a story, but what he and I believed 5 years back that India will become 10 trillion very soon. And let's say that 10 trillion will come, maybe in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, I don't know the time. Okay.
Sure.
When the 10 trillion will happen, if the saving rate will remain at 20% only, you have 2 trillion coming in savings every year. And what he said is right, that financialization of assets will happen. So unorganized to organized is a new trend, which is happening across sectors, industries, and that will happen in your investment also. So when you have 2 trillion of assets which you have to manage, think about the scope of this entire sector. Right now, we are talking about 35 lakh crore of total AUM, which is mutual fund AUM. Then you have 7-8 lakh crore of your PMS and AF AUM, and then you have direct stock book, which is there, which is 19% is retail. What I'm saying is, so the scope is very limited. You have 150 lakh crore of total, bank base, and we are not even 20% of, or let's say 20% of the bank base. So the scope will go to 70-80% of the bank base. And this entire piece will help a lot of other people. And when it comes to taking risk, I'm saying you're not taking risk. It is you are actually going for, I'll not say that job is bad, but I'm saying that when you walk by yourself, there's a lot more freedom when you do. When Mayukh goes anywhere, he talks about his product. When I will go from Motilal, I used to go, I will talk about my product. There's a product line which you have to define. But when you're your own, and when you are sure that you want to upgrade yourself on the content side, believe me, sky is the limit. All you have to ensure is you have enough in your bank for next 12-18 months. By the way, we were not having that much also, just to make it right. It is just your conviction in the story is very important. Your conviction will play out, not that whether you can or you will not. But if you are convinced about it, if we have done this, I'm sure anybody can do this. It is just that if you still don't have a conviction, people who are watching this, just pick up the phone and call us. We'll be more than happy to engage.
Lovely. So thank you, Gurmeet and Kshitij. This has been lovely. From Gurdwara to Gurus of Markets. I think this has been a great journey. We wish you all the best. And let me tell you that we have always dipped into your knowledges and collective knowledge and wisdom. And it's been a pleasure to see you grow from strength to strength. We wish you and the whole team all the very best. I think it's been a great partnership, and we look forward to many more such episodes in the future. May more cities and more strength be with to both of you. And thank you for being on Big Leap and being so generous with your time. So that's it, viewers. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We hope to bring such stories again in the future.
Thank you, Mayukh. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.